Hello, this story is part of a series titled The Seattle Jijinas. As I look back over the course of my lifetime, most of my struggles have taken place when the work I was doing or the path I was following was not the one for me. Sometimes the universe would send me a wake-up call, and if I did not listen, most often I would find myself waiting on pins and needles. Welcome to Storytime with Q Max. My name is Kayo Jijina, and this is my story. The first time had been the most traumatic. Not only was I at a loss as to what was going on, but I did not know what to do or how to make it stop. I just followed my instinct, and it told me to get the hell out of there as quickly as I could. Brother and I were working on the second home at 615 Northwest 76th Street in Seattle. I was wedged between the rafters, trying to nail a short piece of 2x4 as blocking for a shower stall. Dad had misjudged the height of the shower, and all the prep work we had done going late into the night before was for naught. With the stall in place, Dad wanted it done all over again. The plumber told Dad the studs were enough and the blocking was unnecessary, but Dad would not listen. At first, it was just a couple of pokes in the back, one or two here and there, like someone was jabbing my body with a pin or a needle. It might have happened before, but not quite as intense. At most, I might have felt it as a bug bite and scratched it. As I was focused on striking a nail into the side of the blocking, knowing an accidental swing, missing the nail could send the hammer crashing through the fiberglass shower wall, I felt a sudden twinge, followed by the feeling of being stung in rapid succession. Like a swarm of bees, my whole body was under attack. The frequency of the stings came at an alarming rate, and the pain was so intense I could not hold still. The hammer slipped from my hand and fell into the tub. I jumped off the rafters, came crashing down onto the floor below me, and made a beeline for the outside. The stings made my body convulse, shake, and shiver. I tried to comfort the stings by scratching, but it did no good. The stings were continuing at an alarming rate, and they were coming from the inside. The drop of the hammer and a body crashing down was more than the usual level of goofing off and commotion for Brother and me. Dad looked through the uncovered studs to see what was the matter. I yelled, hoping to place his mind at ease. "Dad, I can't be here right now. I'll be right back." Each and every hair pore was in pain as random waves spread through my entire body, first the back, then down to the legs, up to the arms, and around the neck. I was jerking, spasming, I couldn't hold still. Wave after wave, the assaults came, lasting 5 to 10 seconds each, and after a couple of minutes, it was all over. I took the time to catch my breath. I looked back towards the house. My jacket had been stripped off and lay on the grass. My body felt cold. It was covered in sweat. I needed a few more minutes before I could head back inside and finish up my work. Later that evening, I brought up the feeling of being attacked by pins and needles at the dinner table. Mom and Dad listened with concern as I continued. It came suddenly and fast. Before I knew it, I had to get out. Mom had that look of, I know the answer. It was a case of Jijina nerves. "You need some vitamins," she said. "I will get some for you tomorrow," was her answer. Dad listened, but said nothing. At first, the pins and needles only came when I was working alongside Dad on a construction project or a rental. The only thing that seemed to help was to drop everything and run outside, out into the open. With time, the feeling grew in frequency and became random. At a movie with friends or in the middle of a class at college, Each time I excused myself and ran outside, leaving everything behind. Usually I would strip down to my t-shirt, wait for the body to settle down before I could go back inside. A year or so later, and I still wasn't getting better, Dad suggested we see a doctor. Mom made the appointment and took me. We didn't have insurance back then. It was all paid out of pocket. The doctor asked some questions and ran some tests. We would know more in a week after the results of the blood tests came back. A week later, when it was time for my follow-up visit, Mom was not available. So Dad took me. To his way of thinking, we'd swing by the doctor's office, pick up the results, and get back to work.
Son, set your dirty clothes aside, and I will bring them.
At the doctor's office, we waited in the lobby before being shown into a room, and then waited some more. The wait was silent, as Dad was not one for conversation. Eventually, the doctor entered the room with a chart.
We don't see any issues with the blood work. All the results look good.
The conversation was followed by small talk and some more small talk. So this seems to be systematic of stress. Is there anything going on in your life that might be causing you stress? The question echoed through my mind as a buzzer went off. Ding, ding, ding! He's sitting right here in the room. I saw my opportunity to speak up. The question was, did I have the courage to do it? To say something? The mind wrestled with the question. Dad was in the room. There would not be a more opportune time to say something. I felt my courage building up, and then, just as fast, it left. I was good at venting to others. Why couldn't I say something when it counted most, with Dad there? Was I worried about upsetting him? Eventually, I spoke up. Well, with college and working for Dad, there's quite a bit going on and I don't have much time for myself. I paused to feel the energy in the room. Everything was calm. I couldn't read Dad's face, so I continued. I would like to take some time off of school and work, but Dad is against it. The doctor listened as I brought a few more things to light, careful not to tread too far from center. Finally, the doctor spoke up. I might be able to recommend someone to talk to, someone who specializes in family counseling and can help you work through some of your family issues.
Thank you, doctor.
Dad jumped in.
We just wanted to make sure that there was nothing wrong with him, and it looks like Kayo has checked out okay. So thank you, that is all we need.
Dad stood up and was preparing to leave by lifting his jacket from the chair and putting it on. I took my cue from him and stood up. Dad had taken the wind out of my sails. Deflated, I thanked the doctor and we left his office. I held the door open as we stepped out of the building. A cement walkway led to the parking lot. Dad turned around and looked at me.
Son, you need to figure out what is bothering you and deal with it. That's all there is to it.
And continued towards the car. I followed behind. A quizzical expression overtook my face as an entire conversation filled the mind. Don't you understand you're the problem? Or do you get it and just not know how to deal with it? That was the turning point for me. I understood the feeling of being on pins and needles was my body's way of telling me I had to get out. Family business or no family business, there had to be another way. I responded with determination. I will. As we approached the car, Dad pulled the keys out of his pocket and held them out towards me.
Son, do you want to drive?
And that might have been the best he could do.